Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, the 22nd of, where are we? July. I haven't made a video in a while. I really need some time to myself. It's really a question of what the hell do you want to do with this? What is it you want? I want. I really need to sort myself out, see what it is I actually want out of this for myself. So I was actually being extremely selfish for the last while. And I intend to stay on that path, being selfish. Doesn't mean I cannot speak, and I will speak today. I want to talk about the reptilian brain, especially since, yes, David Icke is on that trip at the moment. The idea that they gave us a reptilian brain to make us slaves is about as idiotic as you can get. Now, I've printed out something here from Google about the reptilian brain or lizard brain. Is a metaphor and evolutionary theory referring to the brainstem and basal ganglia. It governs basic primal instincts like aggression, territoriality, mating, and automatic survival functions, breathing, heart, and heart rate. The concept originates from the tribune brain theory proposed by neuroscientist Paul MacLean in the 1960s. This framework separates the human brain into three evolutionary layers. First of all, the reptilian brain, the oldest, deepest layer responsible for the 4 F's: fighting, fleeing, feeding, and reproduction, which actually starts with an R. So where do you get 4 F's from? Never mind. Then oh God, here we go again. Paleo mammalian brain, the middle layer that developed later, which is responsible for emotions, moods, and social attachments. Okay. Neo-mammalian brain, the outermost layer responsible for language, abstract reasoning, impulse control, and long-term planning. Okay. So now the modern neuroscience perspective is, whilst the concept remains popular in self-help and pop psychology to explain impulse behaviors, modern neuroscientists view it as an oversimplification. Brains do not evolve in isolated stacked layers. Instead of separate regions acting independently, all parts of the brain are highly interconnected, and complex human behaviors involve coordinated activity across the multiple areas. So complex human behavior involves coordinated activity across multiple areas, or the areas have to cooperate with one another. So this idea, they gave us a reptilian brain to make us slaves. Bloody hell. So fleeing, fighting, feeding, and reproduction. Survival. It is the most basic instinct that we have got. Our first instinct that we are born with is our survival instinct. And the knowledge that comes to us on the survival instinct is what is necessary for survival, which does not actually make us slaves, because that knowledge will be given. Animals receive the information for survival without having to learn it in any way. The knowledge just comes to them. Yeah. It would come to us if we were to direct our intention to the reptilian brain, which at the moment we are actually being led away from it. Yeah, we should not be in survival. We should thrive. Yeah, get out of survival in order to thrive. If you get out of survival, the knowledge of what is good for you, the knowledge what serves your survival, you get out of that, you're not going to thrive. You're going to do all matters of idiotic things that are not good for you and that will kill you in the end. So again, the reptilian brain is the foundation from which everything else grows. Everything should serve us, should serve our lives, should be in service to life. And there's a knowledge of what is to service, what is in service to life is in the reptilian brain. So you disconnect from that, and it's not going to end well. The middle layer that developed later, which is responsible for emotions, moods, and social attachments, that is, yes, our emotional reactions to things, which should be based on the reptilian brain. They should, again, cooperate with one another according to what is good for you, what is good for life, what serves life, should be your mood or should be your emotional reaction. So that this is really, what is the highest intention? What is your highest God, so to speak? Is it so? Do you want to live? Then your emotional knowledge should coordinate with what is good for survival. Which means if you feel bad about something, listen to it. Because it's telling you not to do something because it will hurt you or maybe even kill you. There is your emotional knowing according to survival. And you, again, listen to your reptilian brain, listen to the emotions that are attached coming from the reptilian brain, the messengers that it sends in forms of emotional reactions. Now, the outermost layer, and here comes responsible for language, abstract reasoning, impulse control, and long-term planning. Again, directed by what? Now, we have language, we give to each other all manners of ideas, especially at the moment, all manners of ideas, what might be out there in astrozones, in the cosmos, God knows what. Yeah? And it is abstract reasoning because we really haven't got a clue. Yeah, we have old stories, but not experienced knowledge at the moment. Most of us don't. So we're going out into all possibilities and we're starting to reason what we should do according to those possibilities that we don't even know. Yeah. So we're basing our reasoning of what we should do, our knowledge of good and bad, all of that, on something we do not know. And maybe start acting on that, on pure imagination. Maybe based on some facts, maybe based on the old stories that were actually a conveyance of knowledge, not just made up stories. Still, we do not know. As we stand, we do not know. Not from experience, which would be solid knowledge. Solid knowledge in matter. But as I said, all our planning, what should we do next, how should we react, what should we be doing, is based on those stories, which I don't think it aids our survival. To have something that actually aids our survival, we should go back to the reptilian brain, because it is the one that knows. Instead of, right, saying it was given to us to enslave us. No, it was given to us to serve us. Yeah, it is our greatest servant. Right, but this idea that it makes us slaves, and here is where things may have gone wrong. Yeah? Now, the reptilian brain will do that which is best for survival, will give information that is best for survival. And I think during human evolution, I think there were others here. Others that had maybe knowledge of technology or advanced knowledge from what we had. And it could be that our reptilian brain at that time said our best path of survival is to latch ourselves onto them. Yeah? And to do as we're told, and we're going to be given by them what it is we need for life. That creates a slave. Because in the end, you will become totally dependent on being given by something else. And again, what Greg Braden says is things that we do not need, that we do not use, will atrophy in us. So our own knowledge of how to survive will have atrophied. We have detached from the reptilian brain. To a large amount, we are no longer aware of it. Yeah, we, as I said, we're floating about in the astrozone or something, trying to find out what it is we should be doing. But I mean, look at Benji behind me, look at Tabitha, fat as she is. I think she barely knows how to catch a mouse. Well, but she can still do it. I don't think Benji could hunt to save his life. You know, if it doesn't come from a tin, he wouldn't know what to do. Definitely lost connection to his reptilian brain. But that is what has happened to us. Yeah? We were domesticated animals that have forgotten how to look after ourselves. And then, yes, that does create a slave, but it's not the reptilian brain per se that is doing that. It may have made a wrong decision at some point and saying that we should rely on those that are given to us, because it is the best survival strategy, which I think we have found out that it is leading into slavery. It is leading into domestication and slavery. And we've forgotten who we are, that we are perfectly capable of surviving without being hand-fed. So I think that is what we need to remember, who we are. We are man of this world. We were created to survive in this world. We have a connection to things in this world, a knowledge of this world that goes beyond just the knowledge of the five senses or the material. And I think all of that is in the reptilian brain. And we need to return to that. Now, another thing that people say is that the reptilian brain is, fight and flight. Aggression comes from the reptilian brain. We are aggressive because we are in survival. Now, aggression can be necessary for survival, and that is something that really we need to, again, look at. If you are being attacked, aggression is not a bad thing. It is the one thing that will save you if there's no other way out. Yeah. So yes, aggression can absolutely be necessary for survival. And not a bad thing. It is not the only thing that will make you survive. In fact, if you look at humanity, the vast majority of humans will survive and live to a ripe old age without having ever beaten somebody else to a pulp. They were never in a physical fight in their entire life. So no, aggression is not the only way to survive, and we have other ways. And here again, there's the outer layer of the brain, which it says impulse control, clear reasoning, what is actually best in the situation for survival. Again, survival being the first. But that since we have the ability to reason and not just beat each other to a pulp, we can have impulse control and stand back and say maybe there's a better solution. And most human beings do that during their entire life. We are not aggressive animals. We can be if we have to be, and we should not lose that ability, because I really have a very strong feeling that we're going to need it. That we need to remember that that is part of who we are. Not the only part. And I think one of the reasons why, the main reason why we are being disconnected from all these things, from our own survival, from our own aggressions, from really using the fullness of the information that is coming into us to make a decision about what it is we're doing. The reason why we are connected, one of the ways, let's go with the way first, that we are disconnected from that is by people telling us, this is basic, this is animal, this is just in this material world. Just in this material world. It's great. Yeah, it's great as long as you're in the material world, because it was given to you so you survive in this world. Okay. But we need to get out of this world, and out there, apparently it's all sweetness and light. You have, I don't know, angels with harps singing glory, hallelujah, 24/7. Everybody loves each other. Yeah, because they are on a higher vibration or whatever. Yeah, out there, everything is great, and you will not need these instincts to protect yourself, to survive, the instinct to survive. You won't need that out there, because there's no danger out there. And I think that is total and utter bullshit. In fact, if you look at the old stories of the gods and what they were up to, it is complete and utter bullshit. There was plenty of danger out there. And no, we should not lose our survival instinct, our ability to know good and bad for ourselves and to defend ourselves. Yeah. But I say that is what we're being led into. Go on a higher vibration, be all love and I don't know what. Yeah. Disconnect from your reptilian brain. Disconnect from the thought or even the desire for survival. Disconnect from the desire for survival. And then what? Become a willing sacrifice? That's the way of the cross, folks. That is where Jesus went. That was his choice, and I'm not going to follow. And I really wish people would get out of that spell. I mean, okay, in the end, if you want to decide for yourself that you want to be a willing sacrifice to the gods, yeah, end up on the dinner table or something. I mean, that is your choice. That is your choice. Go and do it. You have free will. It's your body, it's your soul, it's your life. Do it. What I'm going up against is these false teachings that say you must do these things because as you are, there is something wrong with you. And I'm saying as you are, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Nothing at all. You're perfect as you are. So you must remember your parts, what they were meant to do, how they were meant to serve you. And yes, connect the parts of yourself. The reptilian brain in connection with your emotional knowing, in connection with, yes, abstract reasoning, impulse control, long-term planning, imagination. Yes, even imagination, but it must serve the first. The reptilian brain is your first. It's your root. It's what we have grown from. And we must return to knowing who it is we are, what our roots are. Because in the end, you are just in the neo-mammalian brain. As I said, language, abstract reasoning, impulse control, long-term planning based on what? And you've forgotten who you are and where you came from and what your truth actually is. That is how you create a slave. Something that doesn't know what it is. And you can feed it bullshit left, right, and center and tell it sacrifice. Self-sacrifice is the highest virtue. Beat yourself down and sacrifice yourself to the gods. Well, if we're going there as humanity, yeah, we're going to be animals down the slaughter chute. That's what we're going to be. And that's what they're trying to make us into, sheep. That you can sheep herd down the slaughter chute. And, and they will go willingly and joyfully. Is that really what we want to become? And if we don't, as I said, we need to reconnect, absolutely reconnect to our root, which is our reptilian brain. And find it will show us what to do to survive and thrive. Yes. Anyway, here, folks, I leave it at that for today. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.